Zio Lin wakes up in a cold, futuristic hall, his vision blurry and head spinning. He's lying on the floor surrounded by hundreds of confused strangers who all seem just as lost. A harsh, authoritative voice demands he identify himself immediately. Our boy can barely focus, sweat dripping down his face as he tries to process exactly where he is and how he got here. The massive, sterile hall is filled with shadowy figures, all standing around in a state of absolute shock. It looks less like a school and more like some high-tech, futuristic holding facility. Zio Lin finally snaps out of his daze, eyes wide with pure shock. He has no memory of this place and is completely caught off guard by the strange situation he's in. Standing up, he looks around the crowded room, panic setting in as he realizes this definitely isn't his house. This guy starts wondering if he's been kidnapped or if it's a dream. A sharp pain shoots through his head, making him groan and clutch his messy hair. It feels like fragmented, strange memories are being forcibly shoved back into his mind all at once. Sudden realization hits him like a truck. He remembers receiving a mysterious package just hours ago in the middle of the night. That strange admission letter was definitely the cause of this. Rewinding a bit, Zio Lin was just a regular college grad before all this madness. He spent most of his days cooped up in a dark room, glued to his computer screen. Turns out our boy was a professional game booster, making a living by leveling up other people's accounts. He was so good that players called him a beast for his skills. He lived for the victory screen, thriving in the competitive world of online gaming. It was a simple, quiet life, even if his family didn't consider it a real, respectable job. After a long session, Zio Lin stretched out in his messy room, satisfied with another job well done. He had no clue that his normal life was about to be flipped. He spent his downtime snacking and scrolling through social media, just like any other guy his age. He was a total shut-in gamer who preferred the virtual world over the real. While browsing, he felt the constant pressure to find his true calling and prove his worth. Deep down, he wanted to show everyone that his lifestyle wasn't just a waste. Zio Lin's father used to scream at him, calling him a worthless loser for gaming all day. That's why he moved out, to show his family he wasn't just some basement-dwelling failure. Late one night, a sudden, loud knock at the door broke the silence of his apartment. Zio Lin was confused, since he wasn't expecting any visitors at such a late hour. A mysterious delivery man stood there holding a package, calling out his name. The guy's face was hidden, but he seemed harmless enough as he handed over the strange, dark parcel. As soon as he opened the package, a weird, dark energy started leaking out from the inside. This definitely wasn't anything he'd ordered, and he immediately knew something was very wrong. Strange magical seals erupted from the floor, trapping him in a swirling vortex of blue light. Our boy could only watch in terror as his bedroom began to dissolve into air. A holographic message appeared, congratulating him on being admitted to Dawn Academy. Before he could react, the system initiated a forced teleportation, ripping him away from his life on Earth. In a blinding flash of energy, he was gone. The only thing left behind in his empty room was the tray from the delivery, sitting abandoned on the cold, dark floor. Back in the present, Zio Lin clenches his teeth, realizing he's been kidnapped to this academy. He starts wondering if this whole thing is just some twisted, high-tech prank or dream. A cold, mocking voice rings out from above, asking if he's finally decided to wake up. The speaker sounds dangerous and has zero patience for the confused freshmen lying around. This stern-looking dude is instructor Chin Chuan, and he's already unimpressed. He looks down at Zio Lin, mocking him for staying unconscious for 3 hours like some pathetic, weak hibernating animal. Other students are losing it, screaming about calling the police and being kidnapped. They still think the old rules apply, completely clueless about the nightmare they just walked into. Chin Chuan just scowls at the noisy crowd, looking totally fed up with the chaos. Our boy's patience has officially run out, and he's ready to make them all shut up. Chin Chuan draws his sword, swinging it with terrifying force to quiet the room. A massive wave of purple energy surges through the hall, proving he isn't just bluffing about his power. The freshmen are frozen in fear as the shockwave slices through the air right behind them. This guy's power is on a completely different level, and everyone suddenly realizes they aren't safe. Holding his massive blade, the instructor demands absolute silence from the group. He's clearly done playing games and warns the students to keep their mouths shut if they want to survive. Zio, Lin, and the others can only stare in disbelief, wondering what kind of nightmare they've been dragged into. Our boy realizes that these instructors might actually be completely insane. Chin Chuan rubs his head in frustration, complaining about the bastards in admissions who keep sending him idiots. He looks like he's already reaching his breaking point with this new class. This dude turns his attention back to the crowd, pointing out how much time was wasted because someone woke up late. Zio Lin tries to stay quiet, hopping to avoid any more trouble. He officially welcomes everyone to Class 7 of Dawn Academy, explaining their mission. They're here to train, get stronger, and eventually earn the right to enter a mysterious, new world. This guy promises that the new world offers everything people desire: power, wealth, and even immortality. Gu Xiaoyu listens intently, her eyes fixed on the instructor as he describes these impossible rewards. Enough talk, it's time for the real test. Chin Chuan announces they're starting the potential assessment immediately to see if any of these freshmen are actually worth the Academy's time and effort. Zio Lin scans the room, realizing there are over 200 people here in the same boat. He can't help but wonder if he'll ever see Earth again after this bizarre induction. Our boy steps into a futuristic scanning portal, feeling like a character in some high-tech RPG. He's skeptical about this new world nonsense, but curious to see what his own stats are. The scan finishes with a beep, and Chin Chuan checks the results on his holographic display. The first student scores a total of 24 points, which seems to be the current standard. Another guy celebrates wildly after scoring 32 points, looking like he just won the lottery. He's clearly proud of his decent stats, already feeling superior to the other confused freshmen around him. Students keep cycling through the portals, but the results are mostly average. Chin Chuan grumbles to himself, complaining that admissions needs to stop recruiting people from the literal dumpster of society. It's finally Zio Lin's turn to step into the scanner, but something feels off. The portal starts beeping incessantly, and the process is taking way longer than it did for the others. Sweat drips down his face as the seconds tick by with no result. He starts getting nervous, wondering if the machine is broken or if his stats are just that complicated to calculate. Even Chin Chuan looks confused, nodding that others only took a few seconds while this guy has been inside for nearly a minute. He starts thinking they might have found a hidden gem. Finally, the scan is complete, and Zio Lin breathes a sigh of relief. He's just glad the awkward silence is over, but he has no idea what's about to hit him next. The instructor tells him to hold on so he can check the data personally. He's genuinely curious now, half expecting to see some god-tier stats from the student who took so long. But as he looks at the screen, his eyes widen in pure, unadulterated shock. Whatever he's seeing on that holographic panel is clearly not what he was expecting from a supposed hidden gem. The results are in Strength 2, Agility 2, Intelligence 2, and Vitality 3. Zio Lin's total attributes add up to a pathetic 9 points, which is lower than anyone could have imagined. Chin Chuan grits his teeth, staring at the screen in utter disbelief. He can't wrap his head around how someone could possibly have single-digit stats in this day and age. This dude literally facepalms, laughing at how absolutely trash the results are. He's never seen stats this low in his entire career at Dawn Academy and doesn't hold back his mockery. Zio Lin hangs his head in shame as the instructor shreds his pride, calling him a complete waste of space. Our boy is now officially the biggest failure in the Academy's history. The instructor sighs, totally done with this kid. He's already written Zio Lin off as dead weight, convinced he won't even survive the very first trial of the school year. Chin Chuan turns his back, casually labeling Zio Lin a total loser. Our boy stands there in silence, the weight of the instructor's words hanging heavy in the cold, high-tech air. Fragmented memories of being called trash by everyone in his life flood his mind. It seems no matter where he goes, this guy just can't escape the same painful labels. He grits his teeth, haunted by the word trash echoing from his childhood into adulthood. It's a bitter pill to swallow, especially when he's just trying to survive this nightmare. Zio Lin clenches his fist as his eyes glow with a faint, purple light. He wonders if he's truly stuck with this pathetic label even in a literal hellhole like this. The instructor holds up a gold ID tag, declaring that giving it to someone with such low stats is a complete waste. He practically hands over a death sentence with it. Not letting this instructor ramble on for another second, Zio Lin reached out to end it all. He was sick and tired of hearing this same old song. Snatching the card right out of the instructor's hand before Qin Chuan could even blink, Zio Lin caught it with a gaze full of pure determination. He might be weak now, but he wasn't about to give up that easily. Standing tall, Zio Lin declares that a single number won't decide his future. He's going to face the trial himself, no matter how much the instructor tries to look down. Qin Chuan smirks at his stubbornness, telling him to at least try not to piss his pants in terror. He's curious to see how reality will eventually smack this weakling down. A curious student asks about the talented students mentioned, wondering how the academy separates the geniuses from the rest. The atmosphere in the hall remains tense and uncertain. Qin Chuan explains that the lucky ones blessed by the heavens are destined to be strong. These geniuses have a guaranteed ticket to surviving and thriving in the dangerous new world. As for the rest of them, they just need to focus on surviving the entrance exam. The crowd looks discouraged, realizing most of them are probably just seen as expandable fodder. Gu Xiaoyu speaks up, reminding the instructor about the promise of wealth and power. She's remarkably calm, her gaze fixed on the man who holds their lives in his hands. Adjusting her glasses, she demands to know the actual price they have to pay for such rewards. This girl clearly isn't blinded by the flashy promises and wants the truth. Qin Chuan recognizes her as the student with the highest attributes in the group. He explains that credits are the academy's currency and can be traded for anything they desire. Gu Xiaoyu simply nods, absorbing the information with a cold, logical expression. She's already treating this academy like a game where she needs to calculate every move to win. Zio Lin watches her from behind, impressed by her elegance and high stats. He realizes the gap between them is massive, especially since the instructor treats her with such respect. Qin Chuan tells everyone to mentally chant check attributes to see their status windows. It's the standard RPG mechanic, but here, the numbers literally mean the difference between life and death. Following the instructions, Zio Lin holds up his ID tag as it begins to glow. He's anxious to see his full profile, even if he already knows the stats are terrible. His status window appears, showing his pathetic stats and a remaining lifespan of 60 years. He freezes in horror as he reads the warning that every death deducts 10 years. The entire room erupts in panic as students realize their lives are literally on the line. The idea of measuring lifespan like a currency is too much for many to handle. Suddenly, a sharp beeping sound rings in Zio Lin's ears, catching him completely off guard. His teal eyes widen as he senses something strange happening within the academy system. A special notification pops up, announcing that abnormal fluctuations have been detected. It seems the system has found something hidden deep within our boy that even the instructors missed. Zio Lin freezes as purple energy swirls all around him. Our boy can't believe it. The guy everyone called a loser just awakened some serious power out of nowhere. He's totally losing it, his head spinning while staring at the system notification. This is exactly what he needed to survive, but it's honestly a lot to take in right now. Zio Lin looks around nervously, realizing that he's the only one who can hear the strange system notifications. Even the sharp-eyed instructor Qin Chuan seems completely oblivious to what's happening right now. A holographic window floats before him, but the system is struggling to identify the new power. Both the talent's name and its level are listed as unknown with no match in the database. The detailed analysis reveals a passive effect that boosts learning efficiency by 100%. It even grants an active ability to replicate skills once a week, making it incredibly versatile for survival. Since this power has no precedent, the system grants Zio Lin naming rights. He ponders for a moment, weighing the importance of a name that truly reflects his unique learning and replication abilities. Our boy narrows his eyes with a newfound sense of purpose, deciding to keep things simple and direct. He's done being the loser and is ready to embrace whatever this new gift offers. Bathed in a vibrant purple aura, Zio Lin strikes a confident pose as he finalizes his decision. He chooses the name Academic Prodigy, a perfect fit for a guy who masters everything instantly. The system processes his input, officially registering the talent as Academic Prodigy at level 1. It then begins a final evaluation to determine exactly how powerful this new talent actually is. The screen flashes with a massive SS rank, confirming that Zio Lin has awakened one of the highest tiers of power possible. Our boy stands tall, finally feeling like he belongs here. In a close-up of his teal eyes, you can see the flicker of pure determination and excitement. This is the turning point he needed to flip the script on everyone who mocked him. Zio Lin reflects on how even someone as strong as Qin Chuan couldn't sniff out his hidden talent. Meanwhile, the instructor continues to berate the other students who are shivering in fear. He stares at the notification in disbelief, the words SS-rank talent finally sinking in. This is the kind of power that people in this world would kill for, and it's all his. With a smirk and a fierce gaze, Zio Lin feels ready to take on the world. This hidden talent is his ultimate trump card, and he's going to use it to survive. The spiky-haired guy is absolutely losing it, frantically questioning the instructor. He only has 9 years of life left, but the rules state a single death costs 10. That means he'd be game over before he even gets a chance to start. Instructor Qin Chuan, the battle-scarred man, is not the patient type. He socks our boy right in the head, calling the students idiots for complaining about the rules of their new life here. Qin Chuan leans in close, laying out the cold, hard price. If he dies just once, his lifespan hits 0 and he'll vanish for good. This isn't some game, it's a literal death sentence. But there is a catch. Here, life is a resource. Finish missions, get stronger, and you can actually buy more years. It is a high-stakes economy where your heartbeat is the currency. Watching this unfold, Zio Lin is left reeling. He was just a low-level game booster, and now he's trapped in a place where his literal life is being measured and bartered by the second. The Academy promises a path to changing your destiny. Qin Chuan paints a picture of absolute power, showing what they can become if they actually survive the brutal training that lies ahead. It is not just about muscles. Knowledge, treasure, and a longer life are all waiting for those who can climb the ranks. The rewards are just as massive as the risks involved. Qin Chuan even mentions immortality. With enough credits and points, you could live forever. He points toward a cosmic future that seems impossible for a guy with trash stats like Zio Lin. Gu Zioyu, the elegant girl with glasses, finally speaks up. She wants to know if these bizarre rules only work inside the academy or if they will apply everywhere else too. The instructor confirms the bad news. Once you are a student here, the law applies everywhere, even back on Earth. There is no escaping the system once you have been chosen. Enough talking. Qin Chuan announces that the entrance exam is starting right now. The freshmen look around nervously, realizing there is no way out but to face whatever is coming next. He orders everyone to stay exactly where they are. Raising his hand, Qin Chuan prepares to send the entire group into their first trial, his voice booming through the futuristic hall. The teleportation sequence begins. Huge glowing panels line the walls as the countdown starts, signaling the transition from the safety of the academy to the extreme dangers of the trial zone. Gu Zioyu stands firm as the timer hits 3. While the other students are visibly panicking, she remains perfectly calm, ready to prove why she is the top-ranked freshman in the batch. Zio Lin grits his teeth, looking determined. He knows he is the weakest person here, but he is not ready to lose his remaining years without putting up a real fight first. In a flash of purple energy, the hall erupts. The teleportation magic takes hold, whisking all 200 students away to a mysterious and deadly forest known as the Goblin Nest. Left alone in the empty hall, Qin Chuan sighs in frustration. He is worried that this batch of trash freshmen will ruin his instructor evaluation score. Talk about having some bad luck. But just as he's wondering if anyone can truly defy the odds, a sudden burst of laughter from behind makes him spin around. Another instructor walks in, casually puffing on a cigar. He calls out to old Qin, clearly in a much better mood than our grumpy instructor after seeing his own student stats. This new guy is thrilled because his class produced an A rank and a B rank student. He is basically bragging, thinking he has landed the best batch of the year without any effort. Chin Chuan brushes him off, mentioning his own genius with over 40 stats. They start gossiping about the legendary SS rank freshman rumored to have appeared in the Eagle Nation last year. But Chin Chuan quickly dismisses the rumors. He claims that SS rank talents are just a myth with no real record, and even S ranks are rare enough to count on one hand. Meanwhile, the students land deep inside the Goblin nest. The atmosphere is creepy, with twisted trees and a foul stench that makes several of the freshmen immediately start to gag. Zio Lin covers his nose, looking completely disgusted. The stench is overwhelming, making him realize this world is way more real than any video game he's ever played. Right then, a blue system screen flickers to life right in front of him. Our boy locks in, ready to check his mission and see if his talent actually works. Mission details pop up for the entrance exam. Zio Lin is in the Goblin nest and must escape within 1 hour. He can also hunt 5 goblins or their king. A special freshman care package is distributed to everyone. Inside is a random weapon to help them survive the forest. Zio Lin waits to see what kind of gear he will get. A sudden system notice appears with some incredible news. It turns out there is no death penalty for this specific exam, meaning their precious lifespan will not be deducted if they die. Hearing the good news, the other students start to cheer. They are relieved that they can take risks without losing years of their lives, allowing them to finally relax and focus. Zio Lin taps the holographic screen to open his care package. He ends up acquiring a novice wand, an F-rank magic weapon that comes with a basic skill called Energy Orb. As he takes hold of the staff, the system notifies him that he has already unlocked basic wand mastery. It looks like his life in the academy is officially starting now. Zio Lin examines his new wand, thinking about how much this place feels like the games he used to play. It is all about building skills and earning experience points from here. He narrows his eyes, feeling more determined than ever. If this world follows game logic, he might just have a massive advantage over the geniuses who have never gamed before. Zio Lin decides to give the weapon a test run. He swings the wand sharply, causing purple sparks to fly as the staff hums with magical energy, ready for a fight. A powerful magical discharge strikes the ground with a loud blast. Zio Lin is testing his limits, seeing exactly how much force a basic novice wand like this can actually produce. Smoke and vapor rise from the impact site as the solid stone ground cracks. It is a decent display of power, but using magic clearly leaves a visible mark on the environment. To his surprise, just using the weapon grants him 2 mastery experience points. Zio Lin smirks, realizing that he can actually grind his way to the top just by practicing alone. With his SS rank academic prodigy talent, his skills will level up twice as fast. He raises the staff, feeling confident that he will outpace every other student in the class. But his confidence is instantly shattered as a sudden wave of pain hits him, making him groan in agony. It seems things aren't going nearly as smoothly as he thought. Zio Lin clutches his head in frustration as an error pops up. His mana pool is way too small to cast spells, which makes the novice wand practically useless for him. Nearby, a muscular bully named Wang Dalin cheers after unlocking heavy sword mastery. Zio Lin watches him, realizing that simple physical weapons might actually be the key to gaining experience. He observes the other students trying out their gear. Grinding here will be tough, though, since the time limit and stamina drain make it impossible to stay in one safe spot. Looking at his useless wand, Zio Lin decides he needs a physical weapon instead. He needs something that matches his stats and lets him maximize his insane SS rank leveling advantage. Right then, Gu Zioyu approaches him, asking if he is willing to trade weapons. She looks at his magic wand with a very specific and focused interest. She explains that she knows casting spells requires mental power and mana. Since she has high intelligence stats, she realizes that magic is the only real choice for her. Gu Zioyu bluntly tells him that the wand would suit her better, implying he is not a good fit for it. She is definitely a direct and no-nonsense type of girl. Zio Lin recognizes her as the top student from the earlier test. He introduces himself with a calm smile, curious about why this elite girl would want to deal with him. Gu Zioyu does not waste any time and asks him again about the trade. She is focused purely on efficiency, wanting to optimize her equipment before they head deeper into danger. Zio Lin hands over the wand and gives her a quick heads-up. He warns her that she'll need to aim properly if she wants her spells to actually hit anything. In exchange, he finally grabs a short sword. Zio Lin smirks as he grips the hilt. This physical weapon feels way more natural and effective for his current build. Zio Lin realizes that to clear this entrance exam smoothly, he really needs a reliable teammate. He turns his attention back to Gu Zioyu, the top student with the insane stats. He flashes a confident smile and calls out to Gu Zioyu, asking if she would like to team up. It seems like a smart move given their newly traded equipment. But before she can answer, the muscular bully Wang Dalin barges in. He completely ignores Zio Lin and tries to hit on Gu Zioyu, asking her to work with him instead. This guy is a total meathead, bragging about his physical stats being over 10 points. He clearly thinks his brute strength is all he needs to win over the class genius. Wang Dalin mocks Zio Lin, calling him an unreliable pretty boy. Our boy just scoffs in the background, knowing that high stats do not mean much without a brain to use them. Gu Zioyu stares back with a cold, expressionless gaze. She does not look even slightly impressed by this guy's boasting or his supposed high physical stats. Without a second thought, she turns around and walks away, giving him a blunt rejection. Gu Zioyu has zero interest in teaming up with someone as tactless as Wang Dalin. The other students nearby start snickering, making fun of the bully for getting rejected so easily. Hearing their laughter, Wang Dalin's face twists with pure, unadulterated rage. He is absolutely fuming, his entire body shaking as he tries to process the humiliation. This guy clearly has a massive ego and does not handle rejection very well. Looking for a target to vent his frustration, Wang Dalin turns his hateful gaze toward Zio Lin. Our boy just stands there, looking pretty confused about the sudden shift in mood. The bully suddenly snaps, lunging forward to grab Zio Lin by the collar. He shouts, asking what the hell he is looking at, clearly ready to start a fight right here. Wang Dalin continues to bark insults, calling Zio Lin a piece of trash with single-digit stats. He mocks him for even pretending to study his weapon, labeling him as dead weight. Despite the aggression, Zio Lin stays cool. He tells the bully that success depends on their own abilities and suggests he save his stamina for the actual mission instead of fighting. This just pisses Dalin off even more. He pulls Zio Lin's shirt tighter, shouting that he is going to show him exactly what his high-stat abilities can do right now. Instead of panicking, Zio Lin just lets out a small laugh. He looks completely unfazed by the threat, almost as if he knows something that the angry meathead does not. He gives the bully a cold, knowing smirk. Zio Lin tells him that he will not even get a chance to show off his abilities, just as a hidden danger approaches. Wang Dalin was busy acting like a tough guy when a green goblin suddenly leaped from the shadows. The dude barely had time to react before those nasty claws were right over him. A goblin lunges from the bushes, catching Wang Dalin off guard. He screams as the monster's claws tear through the air, barely missing him by a few inches. Wang Dalin curses, his face twisted in frustration. He can't believe he actually let a low-level monster get the drop on him like that in front of everyone. The goblin leaps through the air, eyes glowing with malice. It's relentless, determined to take down the loud-mouthed freshman before he can even pull out his weapon. Recovering quickly, Wang Dalin swings his massive sword. He lets out a roar of effort as his heavy blade slices clean through the creature's neck in one motion. Breathing heavily, the guy stands over the dead monster. He's shaken, realizing that one mistake in this simulation could actually cost him his life in the real world. This dude immediately starts blaming Zio Lin, accusing him of just standing there to watch him fail. He's clearly embarrassed by his own clumsy performance during the ambush. Suddenly, Wang Dalin freezes as he hears more rustling in the bushes. His eyes widen, realizing that one goblin was just the tip of the iceberg for them. A whole pack of the green creeps emerges from the shadows. They're everywhere, surrounding the students with toothy grins and sharp weapons, ready to finish the job. Panic spreads like wildfire through the group. The freshmen start screaming, realizing their survival trial just turned into a literal bloodbath as more and more goblins appear. The goblins don't hesitate, charging into the fray with brutal efficiency. One girl desperately tries to defend herself, but she's quickly being overwhelmed by the sheer numbers. One student gets slashed across the chest, his body dissolving into digital fragments. The simulation makes every hit feel agonizingly real, even if it's all just data. It's a total slaughter out there. The field is littered with dead students as the monsters continue their relentless assault on the remaining survivors without any mercy. Zio Lin blocks a goblin's strike, gritting his teeth as the impact vibrates through his arm. He realizes everything, the pain and the smell, is terrifyingly real right now. He spots a girl cornered and prepares to rescue her, but suddenly, a streak of purple magic whistles past the goblin's head, taking it down before it can lay a finger on her. Gu Zioyu steps up, her staff crackling with purple electricity. She looks calm and composed, ready to show everyone why she's the top-ranked student in the whole class. Covered in goblin blood, Zio Lin looks around the chaotic battlefield. He knows they can't stay out in the open much longer or they're all going to die. Our boy realizes that even with weapons, inexperienced people are just sitting ducks. This isn't just a simple game, it's a brutal and unforgiving test of survival. One student points toward a nearby cave, shouting for everyone to run. It looks like the goblins are weirdly hesitant to follow any of them inside that cavern. Zio Lin watches as the others scramble for safety, his mind racing. He needs to figure out the tactical logic behind this safe zone immediately to survive. He ducks into the cavern, realizing it's safe for now. But his gamer instincts tell him that no safe zone lasts forever in a trial like this. A system window pops up, showing a protection timer with less than 30 minutes left. They're safe, but they're also on a very tight clock for now. Gripping his sword tight, the dude tries to slow his racing heart. He needs to stay calm and analyze the situation like a pro gamer would do. Zio Lin stares into the darkness, his expression hardening. He refuses to just sit around and wait for the monsters to finish them all off later today. Kim Dane starts swinging his sword against the cave wall, focusing on his form. Turns out, the system actually rewards his hard work with some sweet experience points. He realizes he can grind his mastery level right here in safety. Since his stats are trash, our boy needs every bit of technical skill before the timer hits 0. The cave's protection is about to expire, leaving the students with only 2 minutes of safety. Panic immediately sets in as they realize their temporary sanctuary is about to vanish. Freshmen argue desperately, claiming the mission is impossible due to the monster's insane speed. They're convinced they'll be slaughtered the second they step back out into the simulation. Gu Zioyu sits quietly against the rock wall, appearing surprisingly calm compared to the others. Even with dirt on her uniform, she maintains an air of quiet, cold intelligence. While the others waste time worrying, Zio Lin continues his repetitive sword practice against the cave walls. He's determined to squeeze every last drop of experience out of these final minutes. Our boy is completely exhausted, sweat pouring down his face as he pushes his body to the limit. He knows his low stats mean he has to work twice as hard. Gu Zioyu watches him, bluntly stating that his grinding is pointless since leveling a skill usually takes an hour. She doesn't realize he has a hidden advantage up his sleeve. Zio Lin is impressed by her analytical nature, acknowledging that she's incredibly smart. He keeps his thoughts to himself as he prepares to prove her calculations wrong in record time. Watching the beautiful waifu adjust her glasses, he fully understands that reaching level 2 will take at least an hour, a luxury they simply don't have right now. But that's only the case for ordinary people. He just grins, knowing his academic prodigy talent gives him a massive boost. While she thinks he's wasting effort, he's actually moments away from achieving the impossible for a freshman. The system notification confirms he's on the verge of hitting level 2 in sword mastery. His relentless training is finally paying off, giving him a much-needed edge in the upcoming battle. Zio Lin shifts the conversation, asking Gu Zioyu if she's discovered any patterns while observing the goblins outside. He values her high intelligence and knows she hasn't just been sitting idle. She looks surprised that he noticed her surveillance work, her eyes widening slightly behind her round frames. It seems she didn't expect the trash student to be so observant during the chaos. He casually mentions that it's just like playing a video game where checking the guide is essential. Gu Zioyu simply stares back, clearly not the type to waste time on gaming. The dude analyzes the enemy's weaknesses, noting their low F-rank stats and fragile defenses. He realizes the key to victory is simply overcoming fear and targeting the back of their heads. He tells her the mission isn't actually that difficult if they stay calm. Looking at the trembling students nearby, he sighs, knowing fear is the real enemy holding everyone back. One of the girls is shivering uncontrollably, completely paralyzed by the horror of the simulation. Without courage, these students have zero chance of surviving the next wave of goblin attacks. With the protection timer ticking down to 0, the duo prepares to head out. They both agree that hiding forever won't help them secure the credits they need to survive. Their path is suddenly blocked by a massive student with a permanent scowl on his face. Wang Dalin looks ready to assert his dominance over anyone he considers weaker than himself. This meathead ignores the protagonist entirely, demanding that Gu Zioyu team up with him instead. He rudely calls Zio Lin dead weight, convinced that raw stats are the only thing that matters. Gu Zioyu doesn't look interested in his offer, pointing out that the real challenge and rewards lie with the boss. She's already looking past the basic mission toward the Goblin King. Wang Dalin snaps at her, calling the boss an optional mission that hasn't even appeared yet. He thinks she's being delusional for wanting to fight something that hasn't even spawned. Zio Lin speaks up, explaining that boss spawns usually have specific trigger mechanisms in these simulations. He's treating this whole life-or-death situation like a meticulous strategy guide for a game. Gu Zioyu follows his logic, ruling out time and student counts as potential triggers. They both agree that the most likely catalyst for the boss appearing is the number of kills. Our boy explains that clearing out enough mobs will force the Goblin King to spawn. While the rest of the group is shaking, he's already busy planning out the big boss fight. This archer girl is terrified at the thought of facing a king. She thinks the regular goblins are bad enough, but our boy is about to give them all a reality check. Zio Lin reminds everyone that there's no penalty for failing, but the rewards for winning are massive. He tells them that just running away now would be a huge waste of potential. Our boy asks the group if they really think they'll get another zero-risk chance like this once they're officially enrolled. He encourages them to go all out and earn those extra credits. The other students start to realize he's right. They don't have a choice anyway since the cave's protection is about to expire, making it a perfect time to risk everything for survival. Suddenly, Wang Dalin snaps, yelling at the group for even listening to a weakling. He starts bragging about his initial stats being 32, claiming he's the one who will actually carry them. Gu Zioyu isn't impressed at all, bluntly stating that 32 points is only slightly better than a normal person. She asks the arrogant bully exactly how high his stats are supposed to be. Pushing up her glasses, she calmly reveals her own score of 46 points. The revelation immediately shuts everyone up as they process the massive gap between her and the rest of the class. This girl doesn't hold back, telling Wang Dalin to kindly shut his mouth. She stands tall with her magic staff, clearly asserting her position as the most powerful person in the group. The bully is completely speechless, breaking out into a cold sweat. Even the other students are shocked to learn her stats are more than 5 times higher than their own pathetic scores. Zio Lin is genuinely surprised, realizing her total points are even higher than he originally calculated. He stares at her in awe, finally understanding the true power of a genius-level freshman. Gu Zioyu takes charge, ordering anyone who wants to pass and get bonus rewards to follow her lead. She emphasizes that working together is the only way to finish their missions efficiently. She assigns Wang Dalin the role of the tank, telling him to draw the goblin's aggro in the front. Despite his earlier arrogance, he can only grumble and agree to her plan. The archer girl and other ranged users are told to provide support from the back. They form simple 3-person squads, preparing to take down as many goblins as they can possibly find. Turning to the protagonist, she waits to hear his role in her strategic formation. Gu Xiaoyu seems curious to see how a trash student plans to contribute to the upcoming boss fight. Xiao Lin offers to handle roaming and interference, picking off any low-health monsters that try to run away. He knows his stats are too low for a direct head-on confrontation right now. With a solid plan in place, the group finally steps out of the cave together. They're no longer a panicked mob, but a somewhat organized team ready to hunt some goblins for credits. Wang Dalin leads the charge, letting out a roar as he swings his massive blade at the first monster he sees. He's eager to prove he isn't completely useless despite his stats. The archer girl fires her first shot, her hands still trembling as she aims for the green creeps. She's determined to help the group after being saved by Xiao Lin earlier in the trial. A pack of goblins rushes toward them with terrifying speed, their glowing eyes fixed on the new targets. The students grit their teeth, knowing they can't afford to let their formation break now. One of the monsters leaps through the air, aiming its sharp claws directly at the archer girl's face. She screams in terror, unable to move out of the way of the sudden attack. In a flash, Xiao Lin intervenes with a powerful strike, his eye glowing with intense focus. He's perfectly timed his movements to intercept the beast before it can land its lethal blow. With a single, clean slash, our boy takes down his first target of the mission. The system interface pops up to confirm his kill, boosting his confidence as the battle truly begins. The archer girl thanks him breathlessly, but Xiao Lin tells her not to get distracted yet. He reminds himself to conserve stamina and only look for perfect opportunities to land killing blows. He moves like a blur, slashing through another goblin as the kill counter ticks up to 2. Every movement he makes is precise, minimizing wasted effort while maximizing the damage he deals. This guy hits 3 kills, dropping another monster with a clean strike. He's totally in the zone now, exploiting their blind spots exactly like he planned from the very beginning. That's 4 in record time. Our boy is proving that brains can actually beat raw stats, and his efficiency is finally starting to draw some serious attention from the crowd. The other students are starting to notice how efficiently the protagonist is fighting. While some wonder how he can be so precise with such low stats, Wang Dalin just scoffs, calling it nothing but pure luck. Gu Xiaoyu is far more observant, realizing that our boy's movements are actually calculated. She notes that he's intentionally dodging the monster's line of sight and predicting their every move before they even strike. Xiao Lin takes a brief moment to catch his breath as his training finally yields results. The system confirms he's earned enough experience to level up his sword mastery, reaching level 2 in record time. He remembers the 2 months he spent grinding in a VR simulator before coming to the academy. All those hours of repetitive practice were worth it, giving him the precision he needs to survive this trial. A new prompt appears on his system interface, signaling that his progress hasn't gone unnoticed. He's reached a significant milestone that the Academy's automated tracking system is now preparing to acknowledge with a special reward. The system completes a database scan and announces that he's the first freshman in this batch to level up a skill. As a reward for his dedication, he's granted a free skill suited to his current capabilities. A purple aura erupts around him as the heavy slash skill is officially unlocked. Even with his low base stats, having an active combat skill gives him a much-needed increase in lethality against the green pests. The skill requires 11 points of strength and allows him to unleash a massive, concentrated strike. However, the system warns him that using it repeatedly will drain his limited stamina far too quickly for comfort. Feeling more confident than ever, Xiao Lin grins as he realizes he only needs 1 more kill. He's determined to complete his first optional mission and secure those extra credits before the situation gets even worse. He lunges forward, his blade glowing with energy as he delivers a finishing blow to a nearby monster. Every strike he makes is efficient, focused on ending the fight as quickly and cleanly as possible. With the final goblin down, the system announces that he's officially completed his first optional mission. His strategy of focusing on technical mastery over raw power is already paying off better than anyone expected. Xiao Lin relaxes slightly, resting his sword on his shoulder as he celebrates his first major success. Suddenly, a strange, static sound fills the air, signaling that the simulation is about to enter its next phase. The remaining goblins begin to vanish into blue pixels right in front of the confused students. Even the arrogant Wang Dalin is left bewildered, unable to understand why their targets are suddenly disappearing into thin air. The bully yells in frustration, demanding to know what's happening as the glitches in the simulation grow louder. It's clear that the trial is no longer following the standard patterns they were briefed on earlier. A system announcement blares across the field, stating that a hidden condition has been met now that the population is reduced. The freshmen freeze in terror as they realize they've accidentally triggered the boss. Birds scatter from the forest canopy as a massive shadow looms over the trees, casting the entire area into darkness. The arrival of the Goblin King is preceded by an overwhelming aura of pure malice. Zio Lin stands his ground, looking up at the towering monstrosity that stepped out into the clearing. The real battle for survival is about to begin as the king prepares to crush the tiny intruders. Just when things couldn't get worse, the Goblin King made his entrance. This towering behemoth loomed over the freshmen, his glowing yellow eyes locking onto his next targets with pure hunger. He let out a bone-chilling roar that shook the very ground. The sheer pressure of his aura felt like a physical weight, pinning the terrified students where they stood in shock. The resulting shockwave was so intense that the students had to cover their ears. It felt like their eardrums were on the verge of bursting from the sheer volume of it. This archer girl gritted her teeth, barely able to keep her balance amidst the chaos. The power gap between them and this boss was clearly on a whole different level. Zio Lin and Gu Zioyu stood firm, their eyes fixed on the massive threat ahead. Even with her superior stats, this girl looked visibly shaken by the monster's overwhelming presence. A system window popped up, confirming their worst fears. This wasn't just another mob, it was the dungeon boss, the Goblin King, with a massive health bar to match his size. His face was a mask of pure malice, framed by massive horns and sharp tusks. One look into those glowing eyes was enough to tell anyone they were in deep trouble. Zio Lin noticed something strange. All the other goblins had vanished into digital pixels. The boss was clearing the stage, and now it was just them against the king in this arena. The students stared in horror at the massive HP bar hovering above the monster. It was longer than their own lifespans, making victory seem like an impossible dream for this class. One student completely lost his cool and bolted, shouting that he was out. Zio Lin tried to stop him, but the guy was too consumed by panic to even listen. Our boy quickly analyzed the situation, noticing a critical trait of these monsters. Their field of vision was narrow, meaning there was a slight chance to exploit their blind spots. However, that advantage was balanced out by their incredible sense of smell and hearing. These weren't just dumb beasts. They were apex predators designed to hunt down any intruders they found. The coward's frantic movements immediately drew the Goblin King's aggro. The giant loomed over him, preparing to turn the fleeing student into a permanent part of the dungeon's blood-soaked floor. Right then, Wang Dalin stepped up, trying to rally the group with his typical bravado. He shouted for everyone to stop being afraid and just overwhelm the beast with numbers. Feeling cocky, the muscular student charged forward with his sword raised high. He aimed a heavy blow at the boss, thinking his high stats would be enough to secure a win. But the Goblin King's glowing eye tracked his every move with terrifying precision. The monster wasn't even bothered by the tiny human's attempt at an attack, simply waiting for the moment. In a flash of movement, the boss landed a brutal kick right into the dude's stomach. The impact was sickeningly loud, completely cutting off Wang Dalin's aggressive and reckless charge. A massive shockwave erupted from the point of contact, tearing through the air. The sheer force behind that single strike was enough to shake the entire forest to its roots. Wang Dalin let out a choked cry as he was sent tumbling backward. His sword slipped from his grip, useless against the overwhelming power of the dungeon's terrifying master. As he hit the ground, his body began to dissolve into blue digital pixels. This guy was out of the trial, leaving the rest of the class even more vulnerable. Panic spread like wildfire as the students realized their strongest fighter was gone in a single hit. They began to scatter, screaming for their lives as the formation completely collapsed. The Goblin King let out another deafening roar, clearly enjoying the chaos. He lunged at another group of terrified students, determined to finish what he started with this fresh batch. With one massive foot, the monster crushed another student into the earth. There was no mercy here. The simulation was proving to be a brutal lesson in true survival. The green giant swung his massive club, sending students flying like ragdolls. It was a total slaughter, and no one seemed strong enough to stop this monster's rampage. Even the top archer girl got caught in the blast, her body being tossed aside by the force. The whole trial was quickly turning into a total nightmare. The Goblin King towers over the archer girl, his massive frame casting a shadow of certain death. Trapped on the ground, the student can only stare in sheer terror as the monster prepares to deliver the final blow. Right at that moment, an eerie purple blast strikes the boss's arm. The sudden attack catches the boss off guard, leaving it with an expression that is anything but happy. Watching the system from afar, the boss's massive health bar remains a spine-chilling sight. The lucky archer scrambles to her feet, desperately trying to retreat out of the monster's reach before it's too late. Gu Xiaoyu grits her teeth in frustration after her magic only manages to hit its arm. She realizes that no matter how high her stats are, landing a decisive blow on a giant that moves this fast is nearly impossible. She quickly analyzed the mechanics of the fight, noting that hitting the monster's limbs wouldn't do much damage. To truly take it down, she needed to land a direct hit on its vitals. The girl's mind raced back to her original strategy. She had hoped the others would tank the damage while she provided cover, but reality was proving to be far more brutal. The formation had completely collapsed as the other students fled for their lives. Gu Xiaoyu was left alone on the battlefield, facing the full, terrifying might of the Goblin King by herself. With every heavy footstep, the monster drew closer to the cornered student. Her plan had been way too idealistic, and now she was paying the price for underestimating the dungeon's true difficulty. The Goblin King raised his massive club, his yellow eyes glowing with a predatory hunger. Gu Xiaoyu stood her ground, but her trembling hands betrayed the sheer terror she was currently feeling. Just as the blow was about to land, Xiao Lin's voice rang out across the field. He screamed for her to run, refusing to let the class's star student get crushed like a bug. Our boy didn't just shout, he leaped into action with his eyes glowing with a mysterious blue light. He was moving faster than ever, ready to intercept the boss's lethal and crushing attack. The Goblin King let out a deafening roar, clearly annoyed by the tiny human's interference. He gnashed his teeth and swung his club, determined to sweep away anyone who stood against him. Xiao Lin's sword clashed against the monster's weapon, sending sparks flying everywhere. He wasn't trying to overpower the beast. He was simply buying time for Gu Xiaoyu to escape the kill zone. As he landed, Xiao Lin quickly explained the boss's behavior to the others. He had realized that the king's attack pattern prioritized whichever target was currently closest to its massive body. He took command, shouting tactical orders to the scattered students. He told them to stop panicking and focus on kiting the monster to create a brief opening for a coordinated counterattack. Hearing his firm voice, the archer girl finally managed to pull herself together. She nodded, promising to try her best to draw the beast's attention and keep it busy for a while. Xiao Lin then turned to Gu Xiaoyu, telling her to use her high attack power to chip away at the monster's health. They finally had a real plan to survive this simulation. The two girls coordinated their attacks, with the archer preparing her bow and Gu Xiaoyu channeling her magic. For the first time, there was a glimmer of hope amidst the chaos. A barrage of arrows and magical blasts slammed into the Goblin King's chest. His health bar finally started to move, proving that the giant was indeed mortal and could be defeated. As the monster's club slammed harmlessly into the ground, the archer girl let out a cheer. It actually seemed like their teamwork was starting to work against the overwhelming power of the boss. Xiao Lin urged them to keep up the pressure, knowing they couldn't afford to let the beast recover. They had found a rhythm, but the fight was still far from over. Enraged by the persistent attacks, the Goblin King let out another terrifying roar. He wasn't just a mindless monster. He was a king, and he wasn't about to be brought down easily. The behemoth raised his massive fists, gathering his strength for a devastating ground slam. The air around him seemed to vibrate with pure, destructive energy as he prepared his most powerful move. The boss slammed the ground, sending a massive shockwave ripping through the dirt. Debris flew everywhere as the impact tore the earth apart, completely shattering their formation in an instant. Zio Lin tried to shout a warning, but he was too slow. The blast caught the archer girl full force, sending her flying as the rest of the team got wiped out. The Goblin King stood tall, a massive green mountain of muscle and malice. With his long black braids and glowing yellow eyes, he looked ready to crush anyone left on the battlefield. Now only Zio Lin and Gu Zioyu remained to face the boss. They stood side by side amidst the ruins of their formation, two freshmen against a monster that had just decimated their entire class. Gu Zioyu looked at our boy, her voice trembling slightly as she asked if they actually had a chance. With everyone else gone, the odds of winning seemed almost non-existent to her. Zio Lin didn't panic, though he almost used gamer terms by accident. He asked how much mental power she had left, needing to know exactly how many energy orbs she could still fire. This girl gripped her staff tight, admitting she could only manage 2 more shots at most. It wasn't much, but in a life-or-death situation like this, it would have to be enough. He told her that hitting the head deals critical damage, but she worried about the beast's speed. Accuracy was a major issue when their target was moving like a blur of green fury. Zio Lin just smirked, his eyes narrowing with a newfound confidence. If the monster was too fast to hit, he would simply find a way to lock it down and make it stay still. Right then, he activated his hidden talent, Academic Prodigy. His eyes began to glow with an intense blue light as the system interface appeared, signaling that he was finally playing for real. The system scanned the boss, detecting its signature shockwave skill. This F-rank ability dealt massive impact damage and could stun anyone within range for a full 3 seconds, making it incredibly dangerous. He thought back to his past, remembering how everyone used to call him a worthless loser. Back then, his unique talent was seen as completely useless, but everything was about to change. With dark energy swirling around him, Zio Lin declared that this was finally his battlefield. He wasn't just some trash freshman anymore. He was a tactical genius with a world-breaking ability. The system chimed with a successful copy of the Goblin King's shockwave skill. With the boss's own power now at his disposal, our boy prepared to turn the tide of this encounter.